all anime I've ever watched ranked. That's what we're bringing right now, guys. Thank you for 1,000 subscribers. We are going to go ahead and do one of the videos that I've been meaning to do for the longest time here. Every anime that I could think of that I've ever seen in my life, whether I've seen a couple episodes of it, whether I've seen the whole thing, whether I've seen it multiple times, whether it is a fan favorite, mainstream, whether it's just something totally random that I saw, and binged one day. We're going to go ahead and rank all of these anime onto a tier list, put them all here. I'm doing this in one take, or mostly one take, so there will be some mess ups here, and I hope you enjoy that style. I hope you don't come here for the greatest production value on YouTube, because I apologize, it is not here. Here we do tier lists. Here we do rankings. We rank anything and everything, and today we're going to rank something bigger than anything we've ever ranked before. All of these anime. I think there's 83 here. You can pause the video and count if you want. Here's our ranks. We got double S tier for the GOATs up at the top. S tier, fantastic, right below that. A tier is great. B tier, above average. C tier, that is our mid tier. That is our, average TV show, average anime kind of rank there. D tier, below average, or sometimes shows are kind of average, but they're just not for me. We'll put those there. E tier is bad. F tier, absolute trash. G tier, dropped it. G tier shows might not be worse than the F tier shows, but it just means I dropped the show. I could not get into it enough. Sometimes with terrible F tier shows, I actually hate watch it and watch more of it than the G tier. We'll see. I'll give you some examples of that later. And then we have a bottom tier just because I messed up. Some of these I put on like the movie version, or I ended up watching it in a different format, so I'll let you know if that was the case with that. All right, and we are just going to dive on in. Up at the top, we are going to waste no time getting right into Boruto, which is the first of the three. I guess we should do them in order, though. Let's go ahead and do Naruto, the original Naruto series. We're going to put in above average. It is a great series. The thing that pulls this one down for me is filler. There is so much filler in the original Naruto series, and as much as some of the fights that we do remember and we hail, like the Naruto versus Sasuke fight, the Chunin exams fights, as great as some of those are, there's also just a lot of awkwardness in the show where, like, Sakura is useless like the entire show. Many of the other characters are just kind of background characters. Some characters get progression and leveling, and it's a lot of like the guys that go on the Sasuke retrieval mission. They get scaling and more powerful stuff, and then you have like Tenten in the background. So none of that stuff like ruins the show, but I definitely think it takes away from it, especially compared to what we've seen in Naruto Shippuden. Shippuden, I'd say, is an S tier fantastic show. It does still struggle with filler the same way Naruto does, but I do feel like Shippuden's filler is generally better. Naruto Shippuden's big arcs, like the war arc, the Akatsuki, the hunting the Akatsuki sagas and stuff, all of that is just so fantastic. Naruto Shippuden is probably my favorite show on this list. I will recognize that it is not the best show on this list, but personally, it's probably my favorite. I'm going to go ahead and put that in S tier. I am a big Naruto fan myself. And we definitely might change some of these, so stay tuned. If you click later into the video and you see that something is moved a little bit, I probably moved it and explained why. Because I'm thinking Naruto might go up into A tier, but we got a lot of stuff to rank today. Boruto, going to be D tier for me. There are some stuff in Boruto I love. I do love just being in the same universe of Naruto, just being back in the village, back with these characters, even though they are older. I love that. I love when old shows would revisit and you have the older styles of characters. I love that just in general, that concept. However, with Boruto, the power scaling just completely lost it with the Atsuki members. There's, again, filler that distracts from the main bulk of the show. And just a lot of disappointing things coming out of what was such a fantastic end to Shippuden. Boruto does do some things right, but overall, I'm going to say below average for me. The Big O. This is actually one of my wife's favorite animes. It's a 90s noir style anime with a giant robot mech and that kind of theme mixed in. I'm going to say it's pretty mid-tier. It's definitely very classic in a lot of ways, and that the style of it, I don't know that it's for me. So perhaps, even though I will say I do think it's mid, I'm going to probably put it in the not for me. Just that style, that noir style, is just not my favorite in the world. We might end up moving it up into C tier, but we can go ahead and put not for me, D tier there. It's just not my favorite thing to watch. Perhaps it just hasn't aged well. Claymore, I know some people absolutely swear by Claymore, but I just couldn't get into it. I just couldn't get into it. In fact, I think I dropped it. So I guess we have our first entry into the dropped it tier. If you're a big, well, there's a ton of anime on here. If you're a big fan of any of these anime, then let me know in the comment section how wrong I am, or if I should give it another try for a legitimate reason. But yeah, Claymore, dropped it, didn't really care for it. Neon and Neo Genesis Evangel and I told you we were doing one take. This one, G tier, dropped it. I'm sorry. This one is even more popular than Claymore, it seems like, with people talking about it online. I've watched more clips than I have of the actual show, but just starting the show, I just couldn't get into it. So this one is an Ichi anime that I saw once. Sekiri. It's not good. I won't say I won't say it's absolutely trash, but it's not good. It's just like a generic Ichi fight anime. Yeah, E tier. If you're looking for that, there you go. If you're not, avoid it. Violet Evergarden. This is okay. When I made this tier list, I put a couple on here that I hadn't actually finished watching. So technically, I've dropped Violet Evergarden because I haven't finished it yet, but I do plan on finishing this one. So unlike these other two, which I really don't have a desire to, so I guess I need a new tier here. We could add a new tier, which is like watch list, right? So Violet Evergarden I was recommended by my sister, and that one I'm definitely going to go ahead and put there on my watch list. I think it is something that I'd like to watch more of. Alright, we have our first of our Yu-Gi-Oh! So I guess if we're going to do Yu-Gi-Oh! Let's go ahead and grab all of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Series. Those are the first three. Here is Zexal. I'm not sure I have them all on here, because I don't think I watched anything past Zexal, but in some of these cases, I might have put... If I watched 4 of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Series, I might have put the 5th one on here, but I'm not seeing it, so we'll just go with this. The original Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime is pretty mid, to be honest. There are some super nostalgic moments, some super cool moments, but the dubbing is absolutely terrible. The censorship in it is absolutely terrible. I'm going to say it's mid, and that might be an exaggeration. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, I'm also going to put in C tier. I actually prefer Yu-Gi-Oh! GX to the original, at least in terms of I think it's a better show. The original is definitely more nostalgic to me, but I also would say it's mid. Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, personally, I fell out of it. I was not a big fan of turbo dueling and stuff. There are some aspects in this story that I think are a little better than the originals, and I do think the dubbing is not as bad, at least from what I've seen. However, the story is also incredibly convoluted for 5Ds, so I'm going to say D tier. I think it's a below average show. Obviously, anything with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Show, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Name is going to, do well, but Zexal. I was not a big fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, less even than 5Ds. Zexal, Arc Ds, and Vrains have just become incredibly childish in a lot of ways, and I think Zexal is the worst of this, so I think I might have my first entry here in absolute trash tier. It just very much made me not want to watch Yu-Gi-Oh! And I didn't watch all of 5Ds, and I fell out of the end of GX, but revisiting these later, wanted to watch more anime and stuff. Zexal, absolute trash. Is it worse than Sekiri? Is this Sekiri? Is it worse than this one? I mean, which one would I rather watch? I'm going to keep my rankings how they are. Basilisk, this was a show, when I was in high school, we had a Funimation channel on the TV, and it was actually, like, they showed blood and stuff, and it was dubbed, but it was pretty uncensored in terms of, like, gore and stuff, so it wasn't like a normal TV show where they censor everything out. So I saw some Basilisk on there, and I didn't really care for it, but I watched enough of it, just kind of sitting down. If I had watched the whole thing all the way through from the first episode, maybe I would have enjoyed it more. But from the episodes I watched, it was just a little confusing to me. So I'm going to say D tier for me. Cowboy Bebop, this image is the movie, but I'm talking about the show. Cowboy Bebop, I think, is probably B tier. Cowboy Bebop does the kind of noir style of Big O a lot better. I think the characters are more compelling and more endearing in many ways. Big O, the characters are very much just kind of there, and there's some confusion along with who's important and who certain characters are and stuff. With Cowboy Bebop, I don't feel like it's like that. I'd say B tier for that show specifically. Next, we got Digimon. We have the first 4 series of Digimon here, and I don't think we have any more. I don't think we have any more that popped up somewhere else. Alright, so we have the first 4 series of Digimon, because that's all I watched. The original Digimon, I think, is probably better than the original Yu-Gi-Oh! I think the dubbing was better. This isn't the original Digimon. This is the original Digimon. The original Digimon, I think, is probably better than Yu-Gi-Oh! The dubbing is better. The story is better. I don't want to say it makes more sense because they're in a digital world, but with that premise and that world, that universe being created, the show does make more sense. A lot of the stuff that happens, you know, with Yu-Gi-Oh, sometimes things are explained away as like not space magic, Egyptian magic. Whereas Digimon, they're in a digital world, so I guess anything can happen. I'd say B tier. I think that Season 2 took a step downwards, though. I think it is a little bit mid. Part of that might be just the lack of the original characters and nostalgia, but also introducing new evolutions, like armor evolution and some convoluted stuff, I think was just a bit much. You know, it still did well. It still was cool, but I think it was more mid than the original. Digimon Tamers, I feel that even more so. I put D tier on Digimon Tamers and Digimon... I don't remember the name of the 4th one, but the one where they turn into Digimon, that wasn't that great either. Both of these ones, Digimon Tamers, maybe we can put in mid tier because it did actually have a really good story with the characters like kind of coming together. Very much not friends like in the other series were. But yeah, I'd say go ahead and put that one in C tier, and then the 4th series where they turn into the Digimon in D tier. I didn't think that one was as good. It kind of seemed like they were just adding new evolutions and adding new stuff that wasn't always... I mean, it was cool, but kind of just seemed gratuitous. Gratuitous, just evolutions and stuff. Kind of like Dragon Ball. We'll get to that later. Grave of the Fireflies is a movie, so I accidentally put that on here. It's not a TV show. Very sad, though. Gurren Lagann, I dropped it. Yeah, I dropped it. I didn't think it was that good. I just didn't think it was that good. In fact, I think I watched enough of it to say it's bad, to be honest. So I'll go ahead and put that in that tier. Pokemon is up next, and I think we only have one Pokemon show on here, because technically all of Pokemon is the same continuity. Pokemon, the 10-year-old who is a 10-year-old for 16 years, it's mid. It does its purpose as that show. The dubbing is horrible sometimes, but it ends up being pretty funny. If we have Yu-Gi-Oh! In mid-tier, we gotta put Pokemon in mid-tier. I know some people swear by this show even now, but I definitely think that it's more of a mid-show overall. Samurai X was another show that I watched on TV back in the day. I'm going to go ahead and put it in mid. Perhaps a show I should give another watch to. You know, but it wasn't bad. Erased, I have not seen yet. This is on my watch list. I kind of expected to have watched it by the time I made this, but I haven't yet. Goblin Slayer, everybody was just loving this show when it came out. I didn't. I thought some of the violent scenes, specifically one in the first episode, are just very, very gratuitous and unnecessary. I know they were trying to paint the world as being this dark and desolate place where, you know, even though you're adventuring, things are still very real. I just couldn't get into that. The Goblin Slayer being a very faceless character, I know you do get some more character reveals at the end of the show. I'm just going to say D tier, though. I think it's below average. I would rather watch Big O. I would rather watch Boruto. Or at least, if I was not in the mood for Goblin Slayer, I suppose, I would rather watch those shows. So, same tier, D tier for Goblin Slayer. Kenichi, the Mightiest Disciple, pretty mid. This is the first kind of like, I guess it is an Ichi anime, but it also has a really, really good story. And there's really good fight scenes, and it's stupidly funny. So, I'm not going to lie to you and say it's a great show, but I'm probably going to put it in C tier. And also, based on the other things we've been talking about here, I'm thinking we probably put Naruto up into A tier. Naruto is probably better than Cowboy Bebop and Digimon. Once we get some better shows up here, we may go ahead and move those around, though. Kenichi, C tier, I think is fair. Call Me Can't Communicate. Just finished this on Netflix. Highly, highly recommend. It was fantastic. In terms of slice of life animes and just a different take, a modern, different take on a slice of life anime, I think it was absolutely fantastic. Highly, highly recommend if you are into that style of anime. And if you want an anime with modern animation and that's actually pretty funny, I'd say S tier on Komi. I think it's very, very good. Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. I've tried to watch this twice and I've dropped it both times. Um, I'm sure that it's good in theory, but I just can't get into it. And maybe that's my fault. Maybe I just need to grit, bare my teeth and grin through it. What's the phrase? I don't know. Maybe I just need to watch it all, but I just haven't been able to. I've tried twice and I haven't been able to get into it. So G tier for dropped it on Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai, which came out the same season as Goblin Slayer, I believe. Rosario plus Vampire. I watched both seasons of this when I didn't really have anything to watch, and it's not that good. It's slow. The characters are endearing enough. It's not really ecchi, but it is a harem anime. Um, Supernatural world, human going to a monster school type thing. Not very much, not as gratuitous as a lot of other shows with that premise, but I'd say D tier. I don't think it was that great, to be honest. It's on like Funimation and Crunchyroll and stuff, but it it's passable for sure. Spy Family I have not watched yet. I do plan to, and when I made this tier list, I assumed I would have that watched by the time I did this video, but here we are. Girls Bravo is exactly what it sounds like. It is probably better than Sekiri. It probably has more going on than that, but I think this is the one where the girls are actually aliens from another planet, or at least the main girl is, and that's weird. So we're probably just going to put it in bad tier. It is an ecchi anime, and if that's what you're looking for, there you go. Speaking of which, I don't even remember the name of this one. I just remember they fought, and for some reason their clothes always got ripped when they fought. I'm going to actually say trash for this one, because while these two were silly, this one was just outlandishly, like, ecchi, I guess. I don't know. As you can see, there are some of these on here, and some of them are definitely better than others. It is what it is. I wanted to rank every anime I've ever watched. Here we are. Ouran High School Host Club. This is one I watched on TV when I had the Funimation channel. I actually think that it is above average in some ways. It is very silly and very stupid, but I actually would put it above average compared to some of these other shows. I do think it's a better show than like Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, and like Kenichi. Prison School I would also put above average. I don't know really what you even call this. I guess there is some ecchi in it, but it's also very dark. These guys go to an all-girls school and they get caught doing things they shouldn't. They get put in a jail on school and they're just like beat up all day. So I'd say above average actually. It's really funny. A lot of the situations they get put in the facial expressions in the show. I actually really recommend this one if you are not afraid of gore and like some ecchi type stuff, some fan service in a lot of ways. Above average. Queen's Blade. Was I thinking of Queen's Blade? No. No, I tried to watch both Queen's Blade and... Okay, Queen's Blade and Claymore I both watched around the same time, so I'm not going to lie, I do get them a little mixed up. Perhaps Claymore is one I should give a better try. But Queen's Blade I do remember watching more of, and I do think it's pretty much just absolute trash. It was just fan service for fan service's sake. Couldn't really even follow the story. Didn't think it was that great. Record of Ragnarok is up next, which is on Netflix. It's pretty garbage. I did drop it, but I watched enough of it to tell you that it is pretty trash. It's just muscly gods fighting muscly gods. It's just... you don't need to watch it. Soul Eater is above average. I have not watched all of Soul Eater, but I've watched enough of it to know that it is an above average show. It comes with good action, good fan service, good story. Yeah, it's very classic anime in a lot of ways. Very classic anime where you do get, some silly situations, some awesome situations, and, a premise that is kind of ridiculous but also tracks and makes sense. So I'd say Soul Eater is above average. Spice and Wolf, slice of life anime set in the medieval world. Also, would say above average as a pretty good story. You really do start to like kind of feel for the characters. So yeah, above average on that one. Is this Valkyrie Drive? I think this is Valkyrie Drive, and it's absolute trash. You can skip it. We Without Wings also thought that was absolute trash. Is this We Without Wings? I don't know. But whatever show this is, it's bad. I remember watching it. I just don't remember the name 100%. Ooh, Clannad. So we have Clannad and Clannad After Story. I know a lot of people swear by Clannad After Story, but I actually thought regular Clannad was better. Clannad is fantastic, and I actually thought After Story, I just put it in A tier. Very, very good. Probably one of the best slice of life animes ever made. Also incredibly real in many ways. Not everything is happy in the show. I'll just say that. Highly recommend Clannad if you have not watched it and if you're into slice of life anime. We're getting through this list, aren't we? Oh, Beastars. Yeah, it's just bad. It's just bad. It's on Netflix though. I did not finish it, but yeah. Death Note is great. The only thing I take away from Death Note is it was impossible for me to watch more than a couple episodes in one sitting because it was just so involved and so meticulous, the different plans and explanations and kind of what will happen here type thing. It was very much a show I would watch like 2 or 3 episodes of and then take a day and then watch 2 or 3 episodes. Maybe that's just me. I'm gonna say it's in great tier though. It might be fantastic, but I think definitely one of these tiers for it. It's probably better than Naruto if we're being honest. It's probably better than Naruto if we're throwing that out there. So if there's any A tier to move up, it's probably gonna be Death Note at this point. Monster Musume. This is another fan service type anime. I'm gonna say it is bad. It's a lot better than some of these other ones here in absolute trash though. I'm gonna say bad. Goddess Dormitory also bad. Bad actually. The main character is like a 9-year-old. I'm just gonna put in absolute trash for that reason. It's actually better written than some of the other ones above it. It's just a very awkward premise. One Punch Man is absolutely fantastic, hilarious show, awesome action, very memorable characters, very endearing characters, very. It's just good. It's just good. Why the hell are you here, teacher? Below average. Below average. That's all I'm going to say about that. This is a show. Oh, this is To Love Ru. I know some people swear by it, but I could not get into To Love Ru. It was just a little too much for me. It's a slice of life anime with some fan service components, and I just, I know some people swear by the show, but I just, Seven Deadly Sins. This one's gonna go ahead and put in above average tier. It's incredibly silly at times and gratuitous for no reason at times, but it is a good story, good fights, good stuff. I think it was the first Netflix original anime as well, which is pretty neat. Go ahead and put in above average, and it's definitely more at the top of this than the bottom. Arifureta from, I have to remember the entire name of this. Arifureta from Worthless to World's Strongest or something like that is the full name of this anime. It's above average. It's pretty funny. I like how the main character in this show, unlike a lot of the other like Lost in a Different World anime, the main character in this one is very much not a dweeb, so that's cool. I don't think it deserves to be in the same position as Death Note. In fact, I think it's the same kind of level as Naruto, so I'm gonna go and put Death Note up in fantastic tier. High School DxD, I think I only put one of these on there. There is multiple series of this show. But yeah, High School DxD, I'm going to go ahead and put. Do I actually put in above average? I don't care. I like this show. I don't watch it if you're a kid. Yeah. I actually really like the fights in this show. I think the story is not bad, and just the meme of boost that comes out of it is fantastic. Above average. Ooh, Elfen Lied. Elfen Lied, I'm going to say above average. Um, Very good story. Does not hold back its punches in any way. Incredibly dystopian show. This one will hurt you if you're a sensitive anime watcher. Claymore, or no, Fate Zero, which I think I have more than one Fate Zero show on here. So let me see. Yeah, Fate Zero, Fate Stay Night. Are those the only three I have? I've not seen all the Fate series because it's difficult to follow, to be honest. Um, the best one that I watched was probably, is this Platinum End? Okay, Fate Stay Night, I didn't think it was as good as Fate Zero. I'm going to say it's mid. And then Fate Zero, I'm probably going to go and put in above average. Yeah, and then this one goes with Fate Stay Night. Fate Zero just has the issue where it's just very, very difficult to follow the story a lot. It's much easier just to watch one series and just focus on the story of that one series, not try to connect it to the other ones. I suppose if you watched it all the way through, it would be fine, but just for me, it was a little difficult. That said, the story is very good. The fighting is very good. The premise of it is not bad at all. Yeah, I like it. I didn't like how the main character is not as cool in Fate Stay Night, I guess you could say. But yeah, it is what it is. High School of the Dead, I think, is great. It is one of the best zombie IPs that I can think of. It is very fan servicey at times, but I really, really like the zombie premise, and I think it takes that seriously to some extent. Platinum End, I had to finish just to understand where the show was going. It's mid. I watched the whole thing, and I can tell you it's mid. Um, people are partnered with angels who give them arrows that they can use to kill or make other people fall in love with them, and they have to compete to become the next god. Yeah, it's pretty much as good as it sounds, I'd say, but it's on Funimation and Crunchyroll. Attack on Titan. It's a goat. It's a goat. Now, is the anime a goat for acting like it was going to end and then not ending and then saying, hey, we'll be back in 2 years? No, not at all. Because that's where we're at right now. However, I think the story overall, the foreshadowing, the just dark world that was written and created for it, the fantastic animation, the changes in animation even over time, this show is absolute go. It's better than Naruto. It's better than Death Note in my opinion. It's better than One Punch Man. And those are definitely fantastic shows. So Attack on Titan becomes our first GOAT tier show. Forest of Piano I thought was pretty great. Slice of life anime, a Netflix original. Very interesting animation. Really helps you develop a love for piano music, even if you don't care generally about piano music. Free, I watched this with a friend of mine, or actually, well, I guess I turned it on as a joke, and then the story was pretty good. Above average. Above average, I'd say. Freezing. It's bad. It's trash. It's the same kind of thing as Valkyrie Drive and Queen's Blade. Agani. My wife and I watched this, and we actually really, really liked it. Slice of life harem anime with some other components in it. Every time I say that, it sounds like it's like the most gratuitous thing ever. It's really not, but it's, I don't know. The main character is not a dweeb, and I like that. He is a loner, but he's not a dweeb, so that's nice. I'd say great tier. That's probably a horrible description of the show, but we're still doing one cut. We're 29 minutes and 23 seconds in. We're still going. So if you're somehow still with me, you're a scholar for that. And yeah, let's keep it rolling. Hark and Receive. If I put Free in above average, I can probably put that in above average. I do think it was kind of along the same lines. Fan service anime, but a really good story and really endearing characters in it. I forget the name of this, but I just thought it was stupid. I know some people think it was hilarious, but I thought it was just not that great, below average for me. This is is it Axis Powers? Is that the name of the show? Something like that. Yeah. Jujutsu Kaisen. I cannot wait for the new season of this. This show is easily fantastic tier, absolutely easily in that tier. And by the end of the run, it could honestly become one of my goats, but I'd say right now it is too early to put it that high. I definitely think it's with these other shows in S tier. Fantastic. Shimomenta, a world where dirty jokes don't exist. This show was ridiculous and funny, but not funny, but the ridiculous overwhelmed the funny in a lot of cases. It's probably better, I'd say C tier. And looking at like Platinum End versus Fate Stay Night and Shimomenta, Platinum End's probably a D tier show by that extent. Yeah. The time I died and got reincarnated as a slime, or the time I got reincarnated as a slime, it's great. It's one of the best like died and found, wound up in another world type animes, similar to Arifureta and how not to summon a demon lord, which we can go ahead and put right here. It's not as good. How to not summon a demon lord isn't as good. It's funny, but it's not as good. I'd say it's probably a mid tier show. Is it better than Shimomenta though? Shimomenta might be D tier. Does that mean Platinum End bad? Yeah. Wow, that thing dropped like a rock. We might need to do some adjustments here. We might need to do some thinking and some adjustments. See, this is what's difficult. Once you get so many anime on the show, it's hard with some of the ones in the middle. Can we move any of this B tier? Well, I guess we have a lot more coming. Alright. Your Lie in April is fantastic. One of the best slice of life anime ever. And one of the best sad anime ever. I highly recommend everybody watch it. Anawana, the flower that we saw that day, this show absolutely broke my heart into pieces, and I watched it twice, and it did it both times. It's very hard for a show to do that to me. I'm going to go ahead and put it in GOAT tier. Obviously, very, very different from Attack on Titan. That is a GOAT of action and dystopian anime, and Anawana, I would say, is a GOAT of slice of life / sad anime. So two very different shows, but I think GOAT in their respective categories, in my opinion. Next we have Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball Super. Dragon Ball is mid. It has so much nostalgia. People put it so high, but the show itself is just mid. It's not that good, to be honest. It's just not that good. Also, I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Compared to some of these others, I think we're going to put Yu-Gi-Oh! Down in below average tier. Thinking that. Dragon Ball Z. It's great. It's fantastic. It's nostalgic as heck. It was responsible for so many other shows copying its tropes and its concepts, and without it, I don't think anime becomes as popular in the West or in the US as it would have otherwise. I know there is Pokemon, there's Yu-Gi-Oh!, but Dragon Ball was just so much different than those shows. I don't know that it's better because of poor pacing, because of some poor, designs and lack of foreshadowing. The fact that in many cases it seems like the fans of Dragon Ball Z put more thought into power scaling and character development than the writers do. I can't say it's higher than great, but one of the most important shows on this list for sure. Without it, I don't think Naruto is as good as it is. I don't think Naruto is as popular as it is, for example. Dragon Ball Super is above average, I will say. I know Super does a lot of stuff wrong, but in terms of just an average anime, if I'm comparing like Dragon Ball Super to, honestly, even to Fate Stay Night, I know Fate Stay Night is loved, but just looking at Super versus Dragon Ball, Super versus Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D, Super versus Goblin Slayer, I think Super is better in a lot of cases. And that might be blasphemous to say, but it's definitely not better than Z, but I do think it's above average anime. I had to name every popular show when I said that, didn't I? Demon Slayer. It's GOAT. It is GOAT tier. I cannot wait for Demon Slayer to come back. I think Demon Slayer, I know what I said about Attack on Titan, but because that show takes so long to come back, it's not really my favorite, I would say. I think Demon Slayer is my favorite anime right now. It is absolutely fantastic. Demon Slayer, I might start reading the manga of just because I don't want to wait for more. I just don't want to wait for TV, and I usually don't do that. I don't want to read a lot of manga, but for Demon Slayer, I just might because I really want to know what happens next. So Demon Slayer, GOAT tier, love it. Now we got some Gundam series. I have not watched all of Gundam by any means, but I've watched some. So we're gonna rank those ones. Oh, I forgot Dragon Ball GT. GT is not that good, right? It's below average. It's worse than Dragon Ball in many ways, especially the end of Dragon Ball. GT just doesn't make sense, and it's. I mean, you could say it's not the writer's fault. They did run out of time on a lot of things, but there's just a lot of unfortunate things in GT that they had some really, really good ideas, but the execution was just very poor. Also, let's see. Are any of these bad? Can we move any of these down to bad? I can't say Goblin Slayer's bad. I recognize that it's not bad. It's just not for me. Basilisk. Basilisk might be bad, to be honest. It's too convoluted of a story. Yeah. All right, Gundam. We have the original Gundam. We have Gundam Wing. We have Gundam Seed and Gundam Seed Destiny. Gundam Wing, I'm going to grab out of order here, and I'm going to say that I know the entire thing wasn't made into a movie. At least I don't think. But I have much more memories of Gundam Wing Endless Waltz than I do the actual Gundam series. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in that tier and just say, yeah, I watch more of this as a movie than anything. The original Gundam, I don't think aged well. I'm going to say it's not for me. I don't think it aged well. But it did definitely start off the entire franchise, which is pretty cool. Wait, this isn't the original Gundam. Yeah, because I've barely watched any of the original Gundam. I didn't put it on here. I'm sorry. This is Gundam G Fighter, or G Gundam. This one, which was the one that was on Toonami, I like. I think it's above average. This is the one where, unlike pretty much every other series of Gundam, instead of sitting in a cockpit, they actually had to. It was like VR or AR, I guess. They had to actually act out the motions that they wanted their Gundam to do, which I always thought was a really, really neat concept. I know a lot of people didn't like it that were like Gundam purists, but I think it was above average. I like this series of Gundam. G Gundam. Gundam G Fighter. Gundam Seed and Seed Destiny are great. They are, I guess, a lot of series of Gundam is very real. It does hit very hard. They don't hold back their punches. I thought Gundam Seed, though, not only did it do that, but it had some of the most endearing characters, great story. The story that made sense, an original story for the Seed and Seed Destiny universe, but one that made sense and was easy enough to follow and get into. Though I definitely recommend watching this in the movie version rather than the whole series, because the whole series is just way too long, which is unfortunate. And then I thought I added. Oh, I did. Iron-Blooded Orphans, I dropped it, but I'm planning on watching it again, so I guess I can put this on my watch list. So this is the most recent, one of the most recent series of Gundam on my watch list. So still planning on watching more of it. Kotaro Lives Alone, fantastic. This and Komi have been mine and my wife's absolute just favorite things to watch together on Netflix over the last 6 months or so. Both of these shows are fantastic. Can't wait for more of it to come out. I don't know that it's necessarily GOAT tier yet, but still very, very good. Let me move Clannad over here. So we have 4 slice of life animes and 4 action, adventure, whatever animes in our fantastic tier. Sword Art Online, I think, is pretty great. Some things that, especially the first season of Sword Art Online did, were honestly GOAT tier, but the show did not continue at that level. So I'm going to say great overall. I definitely think it's very much original Naruto level and Dragon Ball Z level. I think it's, about there. Yu Yu Hakusho, I need to rewatch. I watched this as a kid on Toonami. Recently, kind of watched a synopsis of it. Gave me a lot of memories. Reminded me about the show. I like it. I think it's a pretty great show, to be honest. I don't know that it's quite fantastic tier, but I think it's definitely above average. So it's our A tier. It's a great show. I'm gonna go ahead and put it there. Inuyasha is my wife's favorite old school anime, and I haven't seen the new series actually yet, which is why it's not on here. But Inuyasha, as far as these like older series go, I do think it's aged well. It's definitely aged a lot better than like Big O and like Samurai X. I think it's better than that. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the above average tier. I don't know that it's like winning any awards, but it's good. It's good for sure. Outlaw Star also would put this in the above average tier. Have not watched this in years. This was a show that I watched as a kid, just snippets of, because my uncle was watching it, and then I ended up renting it from the library of all places and watching it through when I was in middle school or high school or something like that. So I'd say above average. I think it's a good show. And I still sometimes, when I hit the gas in my car, say, let's go, like he does in the show. And nobody really gets that, but now all of you will if you ever hear it. Above average, B tier on Outlaw Star. My Dress Up Darling, this is like behind the scenes cosplay, slice of life type thing. Above average. The characters are definitely a bit. You get the sense that the main girl is going to be a jerk, but she actually isn't, and you get the sense that the guy is going to be, is going to like not be liked by her, but then he starts to be, and just some different things. It throws you for some curveballs. It's definitely a different take on an anime of this style. I'd go ahead and say above average. Beyblade. Watching back in the day, it I think it's mid. It's just mid. Yeah. It's right there with Yu-Gi-Oh! GX and Pokemon and Dragon Ball. Oh, what was the name of the show? I don't remember what the name of it is, but in it, there's like a death that just comes out of nowhere, and you're like, what? And it's supposed to be a happy slice of life show, and then somebody dies, and you're just like, what? Nejima. It's called Nejima. I don't know how to rank this show because that's what I just told you is what I remember about the show. Maybe I need to put this on my watch list and watch it again. I'm gonna say above average because it stuck with me so much. I guess if you have a plot twist that good, you can be above average. I don't know. Has anybody watched Nejima? Please, like more than any other show on this list, please just tell me what you think of Nejima. Like, is it good? Is it not good? Has it just scarred me? Like, what? How do we rank this? I'm gonna say above average for right now. I think that's probably where we'll put it. Bo 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 bo. Did I have an extra bow in there? I might have. This show is stupid, but it's funny, but it's bad. So yeah. One Piece. Okay, I have to recognize that One Piece is a great show. I have not watched all of One Piece. I have not watched nearly compare with over 1,000 episodes. I have not watched 10% of One Piece. However, I can recognize that it's a great show. Scenes I watch from it are lit. Um, I know people will swear that it's the GOAT show. It's better than Shippuden. It's better than anything. I have not watched enough of it to say that, but I am open to watching more and changing my mind. The problem is it's just so damn long. To actually watch it all is, I just feel like I can't do it. But if you're a One Piece connoisseur, let me know. And then finally, we have this show, which I forget the name of. I haven't watched this. The reason it's on here is because I was talking about doing this video. I was at Disneyland of all places. I was talking about doing this video. Somebody overheard me and recommended me this video, or excuse me, this show. And it's a well-known one. Dr. Stone. Dr. Stone. So this is Dr. Stone. So they recommended me that. It's been on my watch list ever since. Haven't watched it yet, but that's where it is. And I guess that is our tier list. We're at 44 minutes. To be honest, I thought we might clear an hour, but hey, that works out for me. We got the double S GOAT tier, Attack on Titan, Demon Slayer, and Anawanna. Those are my personal favorites. Fantastic tier, I think I'm pretty good on. We have 4 action anime, Shippuden, One Punch, Death Note, and Jujutsu Kaisen, along with the 4 slice of life animes, Your Lie in April, Kotoro, Komi, and Clannad. And then we can see everything in between. We ended up putting absolute trash being Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, this show I forget the name of, Queen's Blade, Valkyrie Drive. This one's Valkyrie Drive. This is Legend of Ragnarok or something. We put We Without Wings or whatever that show's called. Goddess Dormitory and Freezing. I think all of those are pretty. Yeah. Let me know what you think. Let me know which of these shows I should watch first. Let me know if you're actually still with me after 44 minutes. Appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate 1,000 subscribers. Glad to finally get this video done. There'll be more tier lists coming up this week. Let me know if there's anything you want to see. I got a great suggestion for an alien tier list that I may be doing pretty soon, so I really appreciate that suggestion that I got on my last post. With all that said, guys, I'm going to keep rambling if I let myself, so I'm going to go ahead and let you go there. Thank you for watching. Thank you for 1,000 subscribers, and hopefully I'll see you soon in another tier list. Have a great day.